Are you ready? Because this is, without a doubt, my favorite boss fight in a video game, period, dot, end of statement, the end. The Corrupted Monk is perfection in a boss fight. So, you got Snap Seeds. You can use those. If you're in New Game Plus, you can use Lazulite Axe, or Lazulite weapons in general. You can use Divine Confetti. All of this will help you against the Corrupted Monk. I'm not going to use any of it. If you use the Snap Seeds, the Corrupted Monk, who is a projection, a ghost, it stuns her, she takes some damage, and it does a chunk of posture damage. You can only do that 3 times. The Lazulite Axe works the same way. It works on that same number of stuns. So if you use a Lazulite Axe and 2 Snap Seeds, it won't work anymore after that. I'm going to be using Mist Raven. You don't have to. A lot of people will just spam firecrackers at this boss. That breaks my heart. This boss is better than that. This boss deserves better than that. This is one of the only bosses, and you'll notice that even as I'm deflecting and attacking, her posture is always recovering. Her posture is always recovering. You have to play this boss at her tempo. This is the check mark. This is the "Are you good yet?" That's the Corrupted Monk. She has a few attacks that hit twice. However, they only hit twice if you are within range of the attack. If you have ever played Dark Souls 1 or, Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 2, you might be familiar with the sweet spot mechanic. The Corrupted Monk has a sweet spot on her glaive. You need to avoid the sweet spot. If she hits you with the sweet spot, she's going to hit you twice. I'm going to use Mist Raven right here to get away from the last 2 attacks of her helicopter. You don't have to do that. You can parry all of them. If you're not playing without Kuro's charm, you can block. You can also just dash through it. Just dodge it. I'm using Mist Raven because it looks cool. The sweet spot that she has, she kind of hits the ground before she hits you with the weapon. When that happens, she will... I think what it makes the game do is demand you have 2 perfect deflects, but I don't think it's possible to have 2 perfect deflects. So, your best bet is to space this boss. Stay in space that's free from the sweet spot. And the more you play around with this boss, the more you'll figure out what I'm talking about. She has several attacks that if they hit you, even if you perfect deflect them, they will knock you backwards, and they will put you in a sort of defensive state. She won't attack, but you can't take advantage of her having missed an attack. So I use Mist Raven to get through those attacks. Fight this boss a few times, and you'll see exactly what attacks I'm talking about, where even if you perfectly deflect it, you're still stuck in a defensive stance where you're sort of on your knees, like clenching your sword. She has several attacks that will leave you in that position, unable to take advantage of the fact that she has, basically exhausted all of her attacks. So if you use the Mist Raven, or just dodge those attacks, like so, you can take advantage. If I had blocked that last swing of the helicopter, it would have put me in that defensive clutch that I'm just talking about. Keep in mind, I'm playing with Kuro's charm, no Kuro's charm, as well as the Demon Bell. So that means I have to perfect deflect everything or take damage, and it also means that the boss has more health and is harder. Notice how when I deflect everything, she still kind of pushes me backwards. That's honestly kind of a gimme. The game is pushing you out of her sweet spot. Most of the time that she has one of those attacks with a sweet spot, it's at the end of her combo. So the game sort of pushing you backwards away from her sweet spot helps a lot. The end of her attack chain will usually feature the thrust attack, so you want to be ready to Mikiri counter that. And then a lot of times she'll start a new attack chain with a sweep attack, so you want to jump and bounce off of her head. We'll Mist Raven this. You don't want to overcommit. This is not like Genichiro where you can bully this boss. You can't bully the Corrupted Monk. You have to play the game at her tempo. So don't over-attack. You'll notice me going for a lot of charged R1 attacks. That's because I can cancel out of those and turn them into deflects should I need to. Such a great boss fight. I love the Corrupted Monk. And of course, defeating the Corrupted Monk means we now have the ability to swim in the game, which means we need to go back and revisit some places that we've been already, because almost guaranteed there were spots that we could swim that we didn't have that ability yet. So once you can swim, I really recommend you go through the whole map again. Go through the whole map and try and find places where you can use the swim mechanic to find some stuff. You'll find a lot of prayer beads and things like that. There's also some quest items that you have to have, like if you play the game a certain way. I'm trying not to spoil it too heavy for you here, but basically one of the endings is dependent on you having a certain conversation with an NPC. If you played the game in a order where it's not possible to have that conversation with that NPC, you need swim to get that ending. So go around, check out all the places where you can swim, especially in places you've already been. Alright, this is the second fight we're going to have with Snake Eyes. Notice how quickly she's poisoned by Sabimaru. She is descendant of the Okami clan, so she's weak to poison. The lore says that if you live in poison, you're less likely to get poisoned, which is why the other Snake Eyes doesn't get poisoned as easily as this one. This fight is very similar to the first one, except you're not going to get a stealth kill. I mean, you can, but it kind of requires cheesing the game, and I don't really want to do that. So we just have to beat this boss twice. No big deal. The only thing that's super dangerous, again, is the grab that she has. You can parry that grab. I don't like doing it because it seems so iffy, so tricky. But Sabimaru will immediately take off a huge chunk of her health, and it'll take off a big chunk of her posture bar. It fills her posture bar up really good. Then after that, we're just going to deflect everything except for that grab. We'll dodge that grab. You can dodge the bullets. I'm sorry, you can... Well, you can. You can dodge the bullets, but you can also deflect the bullets, and that's what ninjas would do. Have you ever seen a ninja movie? The ninja just blocks the bullets, man! Come on! This is simple shit! Lock-on mechanic, still kicking ass. And by kicking ass, I mean not kicking ass. GG Snake Eyes. Now we're going to get the umbrella, we're going to run across the bridge. We're going to do all that. I'm not showing you that. You can figure it out. I believe in you. You can walk the character. We're going to fight this guy again. I'm using a Goken Sugar. What this is going to do is it's going to stop me from taking so much posture damage. That way this guy doesn't break my guard. If this dude breaks your guard, he will absolutely fuck you up. He's one of the few bosses who will. Keep in mind, if he starts swinging with his right hand, he's doing the long combo. If he starts swinging with his left hand, he's doing the short combo. It's just deflect, wait for him to back up, go for his sweep, jump on his head. Don't use the Simpo kick here. It's not worth. Just jump on his head. And the Goken Sugar there allows me to not get posture broken. If you have Kuro's charm, if you didn't give Kuro his charm back to him, you won't have any issues with that. But if you do, if you do not have Kuro's charm, it's time to maybe pop a Goken Sugar for that fight. You can do it without it. It's just much simpler with. And what the fuck else are you going to use a Goken Sugar for? Nothing. This is the vendor, the peddler. You've told him that, people, the samurais, they want salt. He starts selling salt. His business is doing really well, but now he needs help, and he tells you that he could use a big, strong dude to help him out looting battlefields and stuff. Alright, now we just killed the claw guy, Olvo, or whatever the hell his name was, from that sword fighting game. You know the one. That Wolverine fucking reject, Freddy Krueger extra stuntman from 1987, Edward Scissorhands, whatever, that guy. We just beat him. Now, we beat him and he gave us, well, he didn't give us shit, but located right behind him was the Divine Abduction ability for our prosthetic. If we come back here, we now have 3 options, okay? We can use this to send him to Nirvana. If you do it without talking to him, he's comatose. You lobotomize this poor bastard. And he's dumb enough already. Please don't lobotomize this big, poor, stupid, lovable baby man. If you talk to him and you have the white pinwheel, you can give it to him. He accepts it. He asks you to use Divine Abduction. You send him to Nirvana. He has a happy ending. He hangs out with the kids. The end. Good time. He'll give you a persimmon. Not really great, but whatever. You get a persimmon. Now, I recommend you do this. Give him the red and white pinwheel, and he'll say, "Hey, you're a nice guy. You're trying to help me. That's cool." Then recommend that he go hang out with the vendor. And he'll go hang out with the vendor. At the very end of the game, it's sad, okay? If you do this, send him to the vendor, and then at the end of the game, before you fight the final boss, walk back to the vendor, and you'll get an item, okay? The item that you get allows you, it goes into New Game Plus, it allows you to buy items for cheaper, sell items for higher, and it allows you to basically bank your gold. For example, a bag of gold might cost 120 gold, but it's just for 100 gold. Well, if you have this item, that bag of gold is now 100 gold, which means you can actively bank your gold. Fat baby man has a friend, okay? And that's worth. It's still sad. Just don't send this dude down to the fucking lunatic in the dungeon. Don't you fucking do it!